It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Payne.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Howard Payne's head women's basketball coach, Coach Paisley Fisk. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college women's basketball?
Yeah, I think from an early age, I knew I wanted to be a part of college basketball. I'm from the Waco area in Texas, and so obviously growing up, big Baylor fan, went to all their basketball games, men and women. So I knew I wanted to be a part of that, and so that was kind of the first time. I mean, from I was probably 7, 8 years old when I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Of course, what was that like growing up and getting to see Baylor women's basketball?
Yeah, it was fun. Obviously that was a time with Kim Mulkey, and so they were pretty dominant in that era. A lot of good players, and at the same time, as we were a big fan of the men's as well. So big Scott Drew fan, and so watched them as well. So it was really fun just to get to watch them and just see their just success year in and year out.
As a player, what was that experience like going to Howard Payne and getting to play basketball for them?
Yeah, it was really fun. This place is really special, and it's not very big, but it's a very tight knit community, and so it was really fun getting to come here and getting to continue my dreams of playing college basketball.
As a player, what was it like representing them and putting on that uniform for them?
Yeah, that was the first time I put on the uniform. That was really special. And so, yeah, I think it just goes back to the community, right? Just being a part of it, and obviously just really loved the school, enjoyed my time here. And so I still remember putting that jersey on the first time and playing in the game. I was very nervous, but at the same time, it was really fun.
As a player, what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
Um, yeah, I shot the ball a lot. I shot the three ball. I mean, I made a lot of threes, but I shot a lot of threes. And so, in the record books for 3-point makes, but I'm probably in there for 3-point attempts too. I mean, I would shoot probably 6 or 7 a game. And so when you shoot that many, you have to make them. But yeah, so definitely a 3-point shooter, played point guard a little bit, but wasn't going to be the most athletic on the floor or anything like that. So just tried to be a coach on the floor and do what I can to help our team win.
Of course, what was that transition like from going from being a player to coaching on the high school level first?
Yeah, that was interesting. Going from I worked at SFA, so I went from SFA to high school, and so that obviously that's a big transition. But at the same time, I really enjoyed it. It's still the game of basketball. You're still being around great people, I went to it was a smaller high school, so it had the same feel kind of as Howard Payne, collegiately, and so I really enjoyed that time. There was great people there, and got to learn a lot. Got to learn a lot from the coaches around me, and I still use some of that from what I learned back then.
What were some of the things that you learned as a video coordinator for Stephen F. Austin?
Yeah, so I thought I kind of knew it all coming out of college, and then going into getting that job at SFA, I found out real quick that I don't know a lot. But working under Mark Kellogg, who now is at West Virginia, that was really big. And I couldn't even. It would take me hours to tell you everything I learned. But at the same time, it just eye opening. I think the number one thing would just be how hard all the coaches work, just to be successful day in and day out. And it's not just an 8 to 5 job, right? It's weekends, it's, watching film late at night. And I don't think many people see the behind the scenes of how hard coaches work.
Of course, for you, what was that feeling like getting that job at Howard Payne as the head women's basketball coach and coming back to your alma mater?
Yeah, that's really surreal, right? I think that's really what people dream about is coming back and coaching for a school that they played for 4 years. And I'm very blessed to be here. I absolutely love it. And so that whenever everything was happening, and I realized, I did get the job, just tears right started flowing. I was just so excited to be in this position. I really love Brownwood. I love the town. I love Howard Payne. And so just to be here, I have a daughter, and so just raising her in this town, it was really, really, really special.
Of course, for you, what was that feeling like as a head coach stepping back onto your alma mater court?
Yeah, so stepping onto the court, the first time I walked back into the gym was emotional. It was just really surreal, right? Because the last time I stepped on that gym, I was playing, and so really to be back in the Coliseum, it still looked the same, right? Everything was just like I remembered it, so that was really really cool. Just getting back in, it just felt like home. I mean, that's the really number one answer to say is I really felt comfortable with all the people at Howard Payne. So it wasn't like a really nervous transition because I knew, pretty much everybody here already. And then it really felt like home from day one.
As a head coach, what has it been like building that coaching staff and the players around you?
Yeah, so it's been good. I have really, really good assistants that work for me. Kendra Foreman, she's associate head coach, and then BJ, his name's Barry Johnson, he's assistant for me, and they're really, really fun to work with. Really, we get along really well, so it's a really fun environment. And so it's fun coming into work and being with them and every single day. Now, obviously, you try and get coaches that aren't exactly like you, right, in terms of what they want to do, kind of recruiting and things like that. So it's fun kind of bouncing ideas off of each other. But yeah, being with them every day is really, really fun. And then obviously the players. Recruiting is it can have some low moments, but at the same time, you're building relationships that last for a lifetime. And so those are really really special. Being around the kids all the time.
As a head coach, what have been some of your biggest accomplishments?
Yeah, so obviously not been here very long, but I think the number one thing is just building that culture from where when I got the job to where it is now is been really really big for us. And then this last season we had a winning record at home, and so that was big, right? Just taking those building blocks to the next step. And so I think if you see the first year I got the job to year two, you see those steps and that progress being made. And so I think obviously, I think there's a lot of great moments to come, and obviously, I would hope a lot of championships coming forward. But so far, it's just been fun to see it build. Got to put everything in place because it doesn't happen overnight.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you started to build for Howard Payne?
Yeah, so at this level you have transfer portal, right? You have everything going into it. And so I think the main thing is just trying to get kids here that genuinely enjoy Howard Payne, right? That genuinely enjoy Brownwood. And that just want to play. D3 is different. We don't offer scholarships. Every scholarship we have is academic based. And so just getting kids here that are like-minded, that want to win, want to be the best teammate they can be. And I think you see that culture happening on the floor. We seem really excited to play. We have really good bench energy, and everything like that. So I think if you watch us play, you would think that we play with a lot of joy. And that's something that we talk about a lot is just having fun. Because it's a little different, right, when you're at this level rather than a D1 where it's just, more of a business. So here, it's still a little bit of a business, but we also get to have fun.
For you as a head coach, what was that feeling like taking over the program after your head coach that you coached under?
Yeah, so it was surreal, it really was just coming back. And you always have the moments of, man, I don't know if I'm ready, like can I do this, all those doubts go into your head. But at the same time, obviously each and every day I want to be better than the day before. But at the same time, think I've grown a lot, and I think and I really really enjoy it. And I think you see the progress being made on the court, and that's really really cool to watch, kind of see it from day one to where it is now, and see that improvement.
What does a typical game day look like for you as a head coach?
Yeah, so pretty relaxed. So most of our games are around 5:30, and so what we do is we'll have shoot around. anywhere from 10 a.m. to noon, just kind of varies on what time that goes. So we'll have shoot around, kind of just a light practice. It's about 45 minutes. Walk through some plays, take it really easy. Then I always go get Chick-fil-A. I'm a big Chick-fil-A fan. And so after shoot around, go get Chick-fil-A. Then I head to my house, play with my daughter for a little bit. And then I just get back to the arena. I'm not one of those coaches that stays in the gym, till 8, from 8 a.m. till game time. I have to move a little bit. I can't just like sit there. So, just staying busy, but I definitely like a routine. So, after shoot around, we're going to Chick-fil-A, then I'm going back to the house, relaxing for a little bit, and then I get back to the gym.
Of course, for you as a head coach, what is it like getting to see your daughter see you coaching at home games?
Yeah, it's fun. She sits courtside, and so our court is like raised a little bit, but all the fans are above us, and so she sits below, so she's courtside. She gets to run around a little bit, but the fun part is seeing my players interact with her. My players really enjoy her. She's 2. And so they really enjoy, being around her. And she obviously loves coming to the gym. We pass the gym if we're driving, and she'll say, "Mama, Mama," like she knows what's going on here. And so it seems like she has a lot of fun. And so that's been a really cool thing to see kind of my daughter grow up. Because when I first got this job, she was about 9 months old. And so kind of see her grow up a little bit in the gym. She took her first steps in the gym. And so, ever since then, it's like, yep, she loves it.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against each week?
Yeah, so we compete, the main ones come off the top of my head. So at ETBU, East Texas Baptist University, we play Hardin Simmons. They're in Abilene. We play University of Mary Hardin Baylor. They're in Belton. We play Laterno University. They're in Longview. And so pretty much all the teams we play are in Texas. We have a few, Arkansas, Louisiana, New Mexico, a few Colorado, but Texas is obviously so big, and so you can cover a lot, play a lot of colleges. Within a 3-hour window, there's about 8 D3 games that we could play just within 3 hours from where we are right now. And we're not even obviously in a metroplex or anything like that. So yeah, you can play a lot of teams. And that's kind of the good thing about Brownwood is the center of Texas. We're right in the middle, and so it's easy traveling.
Of course, what is that home game atmosphere like when teams like East Texas Baptist comes to your home facility?
Yeah, it's fun. I think that's been the best thing about coming back is kind of reliving those home games a little bit. Our students sit right above the visitors bench. So like I said, it's like a race court a little bit, similar to it used to be a rodeo arena, so everybody's kind of like looking down at it. But yeah, it's seats 4,000, and so it's really the perfect size. And the good thing about Brownwood is the community they're going to come and support, right? We have the same fans that's been coming right for 20, 30 years. Some sit courtside, some sit above. And obviously they know us very well. They know me very well. They know my family. And then of course you have the students that are going to sit right above the visitors bench and get really, really loud. And so it's fun, especially especially if a big rivalry like ETBU, it can get really, really loud in there. And I think I'm a little biased, but I think we have one of the best arenas in Division III. And so it's fun. It's not new, but it has a lot of history to it, and it can get really, really loud in the building.
Of course, what is that away atmosphere like when going to teams like ETBU?
Yeah, it's rough. It's still competitive. They have a great crowd as well. And so so does UMHB, Hardin Simmons. Hardin Simmons, every time they're really our main rival. They're about an hour from us. And so every time you play them, it gets crowded. But it's always fun playing on the road. I really enjoy playing on the road. That's something that we talk about, to take that next step, we have to be a lot more dominant on the road. We're pretty dominant at home, but on the road we weren't very good this year. And so that's something that we talk about a lot. It's hard to play on the road. They have really good attendance, a really good crowd, and so it's a fun environment. But you always want to make them be quiet a little bit.
What does that recruitment process look like for prospective student athletes? And as a head coach, what do you look at in those prospective student athletes?
Yeah, so we talked about a little bit earlier about the culture. I think first and foremost, I got to make sure that they're good people, right? And that sounds simple, but you can have a good basketball player, but they might be a terrible teammate, or be just terrible in the community, terrible in the classroom, and that's what we don't want. And so that's first and foremost. So I like to talk to parents, talk to mom and dad, talk to the high school coach, see how they are, when maybe things aren't going well, when adversity hits. And so that's kind of the number one thing look for. And then obviously after that, you talk X's and O's, you talk, what we're trying to look for. I mean, I get, a ton of emails, right? A ton of, DMs or anything like that every single day. And so it's just constantly trying to find that right fit for you. We're a little different than D1. We're going to carry anywhere from 17 to 22 students on our team. And so it's a pretty large team, but at the same time, my main thing right now is just trying to get the right culture, get the right kids in here, and then, everything else will fall into place.
As a head coach in an alma mater, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that uniform for the first time that you put on?
Yeah, yeah, the uniforms are a lot nicer now than when I was there. And so I tell them that all the time, like, hey, y'all got better uniforms than what we had. But yeah, it's I still like I said, I still really, really can't believe that, this is my job. Like I just feel so blessed to be here. I really, really enjoy it. And so yeah, the first time you see that, you see other players, enjoying their process, enjoying their time, taking selfies, taking pictures. You remember you doing that, when you were a freshman, putting on that jersey. And so, yeah, it's fun. I can say a lot of, okay, well, when I played, this is what we did, just mess around with them a little bit. But yeah, the jerseys are a lot nicer. And so, hopefully, we have more jerseys than when we used to. So we have different colors now and things like that. But yeah, so it's a unique kind of environment.
As a coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen achieve those first milestones, like first career points and stuff?
Yeah, it's fun. Obviously, maybe not in the moment. You don't really celebrate it or really recognize it at the time, right? Because you're trying to win a game and you get competitive. But really looking back, it's yeah, I know it's so special for them. You work so hard growing up just to be a college athlete, right? And to see all the hard work, just pay off. It's really, really big for them, and you can see the smile on their face. They usually get pretty excited when that first one goes in. But we don't really talk about it a ton, but at the same time, that you're just rooting for them because they're great kids. They work really, really hard in practice, and you just want it to pay off.
Of course, as a head coach for those seniors, what is that like seeing them put it on for the last time?
Yeah, that's it can be emotional, just knowing that that's going to be the last time they play at home, the last time they wear their home jerseys or away jerseys, whatever it might be. And so that can be emotional just because they're usually more emotional, right? Like freshmen don't really understand kind of what's going on yet, right? They're just so excited to be there. But then seniors are kind of relishing the moment a little bit, and enjoying their time. And so yeah, it can be a lot of tears in the locker room. But at the same time, you're just talking about enjoying the journey and just being grateful that you got to be here and play for Howard Payne, and kind of talk about the positive outcomes, the success and things like that, rather than just them being sad and moving on.
Of course, as a coach, what is it like seeing those players achieve those big milestones like the 1,000 career points?
Yeah, it's special. Yeah, I mean, like just putting in all the work that they put in, even from when they were a little kid to now, and it's hard. Like it's really, I don't think people understand how hard it is to score 1,000 points at the collegiate level, right? No matter if it's D1, D2, or D3, it's hard to do that. I mean, they do scouting reports, they know what you're going to do, and so it takes a special person to do that, a special player to do that, and just put in the work. And so really, really happy whenever they can achieve that, but also just let them know like how big of a milestone it really is.
For you as a head coach, was it like seeing those players go on and play, whether it's professional basketball in the WNBA or getting into coaching?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, you always want to be a little part of of their success, right? Selfishly, I think you always want to be there for them, but at the same time, it's just that's what we're trying to do, right? I'm trying to get women to graduate, right? That's the first and foremost, graduate college, and then go on to whatever career path they want. So whether it's coaching or playing professionally, just doing anything I can to help them in that path, and just know that I'm always here for them, always going to reach out for them and let them know that I'm always going to be on their side.
What are some of your future plans and goals for Howard Payne moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, the easy question is going to be win championships, right? I think every coach says that. But, I think throughout the process of making that our goal, we want to achieve making sure that, everybody that we have for 4 years graduates, right? Make sure that they graduate on time, make sure that they're on some academic team, so that means they have above a 3.0 GPA. And so it's those little things, right? Making sure we're doing the culture, making sure we have our culture where we want it to be, making sure that we're having the right kids in here. But, at the end goal, right? I didn't get this job just to make sure that we have good kids, but also win, at the same time. And so, we just want to, our conference is really, really tough. But at the same time, just be competitive in the conference and get as many wins as we can, and just, trust the Lord from there.
What would you tell your younger self now, looking back on your career as a head coach at your alma mater?
Just trust in the Lord that, he's going to provide, and he's going to have everything. Obviously, everybody's path isn't linear, right? There's a lot of up and downs that happen. And so I think just being patient and trust, right, would be the main things, which I'm sure a lot of people would agree, would have kind of similar answers. It's just trust in the Lord, everything's going to be all right. But at the same time, just be patient, and know that, you're going to get there, right? If you work hard, you're going to get where you want to go. But it might not always look like your plan, but it'll happen for sure.
What advice would you give those incoming freshmen entering their first year of college women's basketball?
First year of college. I would say try not to get too overwhelmed. I mean, it's going to be new, right? Everything's new. Make a schedule. Be as organized as you can be, but at the same time, just enjoy every moment, right? Don't try and think that you have to come in, especially if you're coming in playing a sport. Like, don't think you have to be the best player you're ever going to be that first day of practice, or anything like that. And I think a lot of times freshmen get so nervous, they get so caught up in trying to be the best that they, hey, it's going to take time. It's a whole different ball game, right? It's completely different from high school. And so just to kind of trust themselves, trust the process. Especially nowadays, everybody wants everything to be instant. Okay, well, I worked out a week straight, so I should shoot the ball better, or dribble better, or whatever the case is. And it's like, no, you have to do a lot more, than just 1 week. And so just trust the process, but at the same time, just know that you're here for a reason, that you were recruited for a reason, and just to stay calm, because it can get a little chaotic that first year.
What advice would you give those seniors looking to go play professionally, whether it's the WNBA or going overseas and playing?
Yeah, I would just say to just make as many connections as you can, whether it be different tryouts, whether it be, there's a bunch of overseas contacts, that people will talk with me about. And so I would say just put yourself out there, make highlight films, and see if you can even get a tryout. And then just kind of go from there. But yeah, there's definitely opportunities that a lot of people just assume that they're not there just because it's C3. But at the same time, especially overseas, I know there's a lot of opportunities. If somebody wants to be a professional basketball player, then they can make it happen for sure.
What advice would you give those players looking to get into coaching after their playing career?
Yeah, I would say definitely make connections. Just talk with as many people as you can. And a lot of people say don't go, high school or junior high or whatever, because then you're never going to be able to reach the collegiate level. And I would say just get the best job that you can for yourself, and just let everything else fall into place. But just make good connections, right? Work hard. Don't think you know it all, like I did. Don't think you know everything that's going to happen. But just stay patient, right? It's not going to happen overnight. But at the same time, just be the best person that you can be in your role, right? Whether it's video coordinator, whether it's offense, running the offense, whether it's mopping the floors, right? Whatever it is, be the best person you can in that role, and everything else will fall into place.
What advice would you give those future head coaches out there looking to build their own program and build their own legacy?
Yeah, I would say just to remain patient. we always talk about players wanting an instant, and I think coaches do too, right? Well, knowing what you're coming into, right? Knowing the history of what you're coming into, like it's just not going to happen, overnight. But at the same time, remaining patient, working hard, and knowing that, just trusting in yourself and knowing that, hey, I'm doing the right steps. It's going to get there, and I think patience and trust would be huge. Just like be confident in yourself. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Obviously, you want to listen. You don't want to think you know it all, but at the same time, be confident in what you're doing.
What advice would you give people like yourself that are coaching at their alma mater?
That's a good question. I think first it would just be just to enjoy it, and really, really soak it all in, because it's not common. Like, it's not a lot of people get to coach at the same place that they played for. And, I think I recognize how uncommon it is. I feel like there'd be a lot of coaches that would love to coach for their alma mater. And so I think just enjoying the moment and not taking anything for granted.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the program app?
Yeah, so we have my Twitter is pfisk, so it's going to be PFISK. And then we have it's going to be under HPU basketball for Twitter. Mainly Twitter accounts. We don't have Instagram or Facebook or anything right now. But yeah, we'll do a lot of stuff through Twitter and post a lot, talking about highlights, camps, and things like that. So love to give a follow.
Thank you again, Coach Presley Fisk, for your interview, and best luck in your future with Howard Payne as the head women's basketball coach.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon. You can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Presley Fisk, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.